Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We are at another episode here at the Chairman's Club in Lorville, and we can't get in there unless we spend a lot of real-life money, which we're not going to do right now. We are at Tessa Spaceport here at Lorville, and the reason we're here is because today we're going to buy a new ship. So if you've watched any of the previous videos in this series, we've covered everything from unlimited guns and armor using bunker running. We've looked at dogfighting, hauling. We even looked at taking out the rock ground vehicle to do some mining. And so now, on top of that and the cargo hauling and everything else we've covered, we've got enough game loops to be able to get some money together. So before you come here to New Deal in Lorville, you're going to need at least 2.6 million credits. We're here with 2.9, so we're going to go in now and buy our first ship. Now, there's other ships you might want to buy before this, but this is what I recommend because you're going to need it for our new game loop. Now, you can have a look around, and just to show you very quickly, there's a lot of ships in here. We've got the Hammerhead that you can go and have a look around. Over here is the Connie, the Constellation Andromeda, which you can have a look at. And they're great ships that we'll look at in the future to buy. But for now, we're going to look at one specifically, and it's not this one. This is for another game loop. This is the Prospector. This is for mining, but mining raw materials rather than what we did last time in the rock. What we're going to do today, though, we're going to do salvaging. And for that, we cannot rent a salvaging vehicle. We have to buy the Drake Interplanetary Vulture. 2.6 million credits. We're going to go ahead and press purchase. We're going to confirm that purchase, and now we have that ship. That ship has been purchased. It is ours. We can now head back outside and go to the area to pick this up. And so here in Lorville, this is our area to claim our ships. So we're going to go to the fleet manager, and you're now going to see our Drake Vulture, which we can retrieve. Now we've retrieved it, we're going to head back to the hangars, which is behind us here. Elevators to hangars. We're going to go ahead and call our elevator as we normally would and go into our medium hangar. Sorry, small hangar, I apologize. Small hangar, it's a small ship. There are different vehicles available. There is the Misk Fortune that looks like the Prospector, but that is only available for real cash at the moment. It's about £200 to buy it, and so you don't need to buy any ships in the game with real money. You can acquire them like we have here. And this is our new ship. This is our Drake Vulture. You can also do salvaging with a hand multi-tool, but we're not going to do that because it's inefficient. And the next level up from this is the Reclaimer, and that is a huge multi-person vehicle. But for now, we have this ship, the Vulture. So these are going to be the salvaging heads here. It will salvage through here into these canisters. Okay, these are 1 SCU canisters each that will hold the material. And then from there, they'll take them from these pipes and feed them through back into this area here. We've got the canopy where we can sit at the top. And so if I keep going to the back of the ship, and we open up the ship, you'll notice that we've got more storage now, so we can get rid of that starter ship. We don't need to use a starter ship anymore. We can use this instead. This has got much more storage here. So here is a cargo grid that holds 12. So 3 along here, 3 along here, and on top. So there's 12 SCU there. But we can also fit boxes down the side here. We can easily fit another 6 down here, which puts it up to 18. There's another 2 that will go here. That's up to 20. Another 2 that will go here. That's up to 22. And we can get 2 here. So you can actually fit about 24 to 25 boxes on here if you play Tetris. Now, the way that this works is the boxes, they come from in here. So this is the back of the ship. They'll come in here through this duct. They'll be pushed down and compressed into a box that gets spat out here. So 1 SCU box comes out here. We can then use our tractor beam to move it into place. Now, we don't have a tractor beam at the moment, and if we have a look, you'll see we don't have anything on us really, except for a spacesuit. We will need a spacesuit. We can come up to this control panel here, and this shows us there's 13 SCU. So there's a 6 on outside, on each arm, which is 12, and then the one inside here, that's 13. That's our internal storage. So when we have enough of the materials, we can then print the boxes here. We can also go to craft, and we can craft, if we've got construction material and recycled material composite, RMC, those currently are the two materials that we get from salvaging. If we've got both of those, we can actually craft a multi-tool with a tractor beam attachment, other items, even fuses. And that is all stuff that we will do later on. But for now, let's go and head upstairs here. Okay, now we're upstairs. We can see this is kind of the sleeping area. There's a bed here, some overhead storage. You can't use it at the moment, but it's there. All of our components and parts. And then a door that takes us through to the front of our ship, which if we open up this side door, takes us out. We can get a ladder up. So we've got front and back access to this ship. And there we go. That is it. That is the ship. And everything that we need. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to jump in. Go into our pilot seat. And we're going to go ahead and press F1. That is going to open up our Moby Glass. And we can go to contracts. We can go to salvaging. And now we can start to take on these salvaging contracts. Now we have to buy these. They have a fee attached to them. And you'll notice they're in different locations. So Ark, Crew, Mick, Her, L3. So if we look at the map and we zoom out a little bit from Hurston, what we're looking for, I just keep zooming out, we're going to rotate this map around, is outside Hurston, we've got Her L2 and Her L1. So 1 and 2. Coming out a bit further, we've got L5 and we've got L4. But if we have a look over here, L3 is quite a long way away. So we don't really want to go to L3, so we want to go to 1, 2, 4 or 5. So we're going to go to contracts, and anything on Her from salvaging, we're going to go for. In this case, Her L3, which is not the one we want to go for. It's not the one we want to go for. We're going to go for it because we need this, so we're going to take that fee. All right, and we're going to take that job. So let's take off. First things first. We're going to turn on our controls. As normal, we're going to lift our landing gear, take off our shields, and we're good to go. We're going to head outside of this funky looking ship. Now this ship goes like a rocket. It is fast, but however, it slows down like a bus. It is so hard to stop this ship. So please bear in mind when you're moving, you're going to quite often crash into things or fly past things. So just please bear that in mind as you're moving around. We're going to have to take that into consideration. Now, we're heading out of the atmosphere. We'll change all of our power to our engines. And we're going to head out into space so we can go to our contract. So just disabled in atmosphere, waiting for that QT marker. Using our boosts. Slow to get started, but once you're in space, this thing moves. And you don't realise that it moves. Okay, so we're not going to be able to get to that marker because it's on the other side of the planet there, so we're going to have to press F2 again. And we should be able to click on here and select this as a route. If that doesn't work, if there's a bug, just zoom out ever so slightly from the salvage, look for the station, and you will, you should even be able to go to that. In this case, if it's not working, if it's not letting you do that, and then you might just need to pick somewhere else to start with, route to that, just to get out the way, and then we can come across. So sometimes things are blocked, it's not that easy to get somewhere. So now we can see if we head up here, we can start quantum traveling to this place, just to get clear of the planet, and then we can cancel that. The way that you cancel it, we've done this before. As you're in quantum, just press the U key. If we go ahead and press U, engines off, so press U to turn them on again and I, but we've now just broken that quantum travel. So now press F2, cancel where we were going. Instead, we're going to choose where we want to go. Again, if the routing doesn't work, that's a bug that should be fixed. We can click to here, and this should actually allow us to go. If it's not, because it's obstructed, we just need to fix that. So Again, we can work on that and get that fixed. But for now, let's look at where it is we need to go. Her L1. Her L1 is not actually where we need to go. We need to get to this site here. So we're just going to head over in this general direction. Don't know why it's showing up as obstructive. That's just a bug at the moment. But it shouldn't show as obstructive. We should be able to see that. We should be able to get to that. So we're going to work on that now. Head over to that L3 station. And then we'll be able to start that contract. So you don't have to watch me in quantum travel at the moment. I'm just going to quantum travel across to the location claim. And then we'll start the video again. I'm just going to pause it as we're on our way. Okay, so we're just arriving now. We've quantum traveled to the location claim. Took about 3 minutes to get here. One of the things you can do with this ship is upgrade your quantum drive to be able to go faster. It's pretty good. You can get a little bit better. And so that's something you might want to consider. For that, you would use urkel.games, the website urkel.games. You'll be able to have a look at what's available there to upgrade. Something else you may want to consider with upgrading this is the salvaging arms or the salvaging heads. And that's something you can consider as well. You can upgrade them from there's different modules available, and we'll talk about that later. But for a beginner, not something you need to worry about too much. We're just going to fly towards this salvage. Now, the thing you have to consider here is we're doing 1,000 meters a second at the moment, and to slow down is really difficult. So if we aim at that location, we're just going to hit it head on. So we want to aim just offset it a little bit. You can see that I'm not even moving forward anymore. In fact, now I'm actually actively putting on the brakes and slowing myself right down. I'm still doing 300 meters a second as I head towards this salvage claim, 200 meters a second. And see how it slows down, but it takes such a long time to do it. So now I'm a couple of kilometers out. I'm still going like 200 meters a second. I'm trying not to go much more. So as we get closer now, I'm slowing down to 100 meters a second. And now I'm slowing down to pretty much a stop. All right, that's the first thing you need to do is get within about 100 meters of the target. Now I'm changing operator mode, so I'm on scanning. You can see that because I've got an outline here, and if I press and hold my left mouse button, it will turn yellow. And if I hold that mouse button, you'll hear a noise. You heard those little noises, and what that's doing is it's first scanning the info, and then it's scanning for cargo. Now, there's no cargo space on this plane, so there'll be no cargo, but it does have parts on it. So here we can see, what are the parts? Okay, we can see it's got some guns on it. We can take those off if we want to. And so we have the ability now to come up to this ship and we can start to scrap it. Now, the way we can do this, if I press L so we can see the ship, is I don't have a multi-tool on me. So the first thing I need to do is to get a multi-tool before I can take anything like the guns off or the things like that. So for this ship, we're not going to strip anything. We're not going to get out. We're just going to salvage it. To do that, we start by pressing M. That will bring out these salvaging arms, and now we can see a whole new dashboard. So let's just quickly talk through this dashboard. On the left and right side, they're exactly the same here. You'll see contact area with the surface. You'll see distance. We need to be somewhere within 100 meters, but further than 25. So between 25 and 100 meters, and you can see the distance here we are. So we're 16 meters out. So we're okay at the moment. It's not too bad, but we're near the edge. The vehicle hull, which is a surface, is valid. We can see that we've got different modules here. So we've got the scraper module, or if I press the right mouse button, we're going to swap over to the tractor beam module. And on this side, we've got the cinch scraper. So we've got two cinch scrapers, or a tractor beam and an abrade scraper. So you can see that the abrade scraper has different speed and efficiency, as a 3.5 meter diameter. Whereas if I look at the other one, it has a 1.5 meter diameter. So this is a smaller circle, but more speed. And you can see here 0.85 efficiency. And the other one is 0.76 efficiency. So whilst these cinch scrapers are more efficient, they're smaller. They cover a smaller surface area. So good for small ships, but not so good for big ships. Also in the bottom right now, there's a lot more controls. So we need to bear that in mind. So let's talk through these controls. Starting with, if I hold down Alt, I can press A. I'm only now targeting my left. As you can see, I've only got the left arm active. If I now press Shift, I'm only changing that left side. If I hold Alt and D, I swap and do the same thing. So now I can just use the one side. Alt and S, and I'm going to use both sides. Now, if I was to use the left mouse button, I'll turn this on. And you can now see what I'm doing. I'm starting to scrape this hole. So now I can move my ship around. And if I don't want to move my ship around, I can press G and I'll turn on gimbal mode. And now I can move my mouse. And I'm only going to be moving the heads and not the ship itself. So what you can see here is I'm going to go through and I'm going to start scraping this ship. This is taking RMC. And you can see here in our depot, I'm 0.2 of 13 SCU. So we're starting to fill up these containers now. That's great. So we're going to just do this and get ourselves some RMC because this is the most valuable. RMC is worth somewhere in the region of about 10,000 per SCU. So you get the idea. We've paid 1,000 for this ship. And at the moment, we've got about, I would say, 3,000 back if we look at the deposit and how much we've got. So let's go ahead and just clear the rest of this ship. And we'll do this part first. So that's pretty much most of it. You can min-max. We're not going to. We're actually going to swap over now to the tractor module. And we press R the same way you would normally. And we can rotate this around, move it around. Now don't forget, we're not just using the tractor model. We're also using the abrade scraper at the same time. So we're scraping as well as using the tractor model. Now we're going to come back. Do exactly what we did before, but on the other side. So we don't need to get out the ship. It's a single person ship. So we can do all of this ourselves. Now, if you've got someone with you, they can go out and they can strip the ship, look for cargo. They can do the crafting of the boxes downstairs. So it is ideally, for maximum efficiency, is a two-person ship. But you can do all of this manually yourself. And that's it. That mission is now complete. Now, just to show you what we need to do next, if we turn this off, that's everything done from salvaging, from the initial RMC perspective. But if I hold down Alt and press W, I've now moved from the left and the right side to the fracture field. Now, if I press my right mouse button, I'm going to swap between fracture and disintegration. And you can see that swapping. So in fracture mode, what we first need to do is fracture this ship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into fracture mode and we're going to fracture the ship. It's going to blow up. Now I swap to disintegration mode and I can start to disintegrate these separate components. If you do it quickly, you can grab them all before they disappear or spread out. So just hovering over these. As you can see, picking up all of these parts. Now, what this is doing is giving us construction material. Construction material typically sells for about 2,000 or 3,000 per SCU. It's not as valuable as RMC, but it does still give us the construction material that we need to be able to craft. So as a result, now, if I went downstairs, I can craft myself a multi-tool because I've got both RMC and construction material. And that is it. That ship has now disappeared. If I press F1, go to my contracts, go to offers and salvage, we've now got more available, as you can see. So now it's staying inside the her area, the HUR. We're going to go to L5. If we do that, we can go to L5 because we know her L5 is quite close. We'll take that. We'll go to our... We'll go back to what we were using, which before was the salvage, the quantum mode, sorry. So we're out of salvage mode now. And we're going to look for where we need to go, which is just over here. So we'll quantum travel across. It won't take us very long at all to get there. Now, I do not recommend that you go down the ladder downstairs whilst in quantum. It could be quite tempting while you're in quantum travel to go down that ladder. However, it will yeet you out of the ship and you'll end up with no ship. So if you're in either the reclaimer or this ship, do not use the elevator or the ladder in quantum travel mode. It will yeet you out the ship. Just wait until you've stopped. So we're going to head to our next contract now. I'm going to pause the video just so that you're not wasting time watching me. Okay, so here we are. We're arriving now. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. This is still going to be an arrow, so it's not going to be a very good ship. But we're not going to worry too much about the RMC at the moment. We could if we wanted to. But because we just want to finish this, because we have to do the 1k mission to get the 5k mission. And then we have to do the 5k mission to get the 20k mission. And the 20k mission we have to complete to get the 50k mission. After they got the 50k, there's nothing more. So you can abandon a contract because you've paid for it anytime you want. What we're going to do, just going to head in here. And again, we're doing quite a lot of speed at the moment. So just bearing in mind that that speed, as we're heading in at 1,000 meters a second, we're going to need to slow down. So we're going to swap modes. That's going into weapon mode is going to slow us down really quickly. And then we're just going to boost in. And as we get a bit closer, we'll put on those space brakes. It will slow us down. So remember, being in combat mode definitely helps. One, having your shield up, but also two, being able to move just a lot slower and a lot more controlled. Remember, this goes like a rocket, stops like a fridge. Okay, so we're where we need to be. It's exactly the same ship, but what we're going to do this time is something slightly different. What we're going to do this time is we're going to have a look at this ship. Okay, so we'll leave that there. We're going to jump outside of this ship. We're going to head downstairs. So we head down. Once we're downstairs, we're going to click on this panel. Now you can see, look, we've got some RMC and some construction material from the last ship that we took. So now we can craft a pyro multi-tool. That's going to come out here of this salvage tool station. We're going to take that. And now we're going to do the tractor beam attachment. Whilst that's printing, we're just going to open up the back door. We'll press and hold F, and then we'll carry that. Now we're carrying it, we're going to press I, and we're going to drag this from our hand and put it onto our multi-tool. Now we've got ourselves a tractor beam. So we can jump out the back of this ship. We can head over to this ship now. And we can start to grab things off it. Now we can actually grab the ship itself. But if we go over to the guns, for example, we're actually grabbing the ship, which is not what we wanted to do. What we want to do is grab these. So if we grab these and pull away, we can actually detach it. So there we go. We've just taken off that Panther repeater. We can do the same thing with this one. So now you can see we can start to take parts off the ship. We can take off the missiles. We can either put those on our ship. We can take them and we can attach them to our ship. Or we can sell them if we want to. If we get inside the ship and there's components, we can start to take components out. And we can do exactly the same thing. We can either store them to sell them later. We can put them on our ships. Or if we really wanted to, again, we could sell them, make money. Lots of things we can do. I'm not going to worry about that for the purpose of this video. You can. You have to work out what's valuable, what's not. All of that good stuff. I'm not worried about that right now, but I'm just showing you how to do it. What I'm going to do is press M. And again, I could, at this stage, if I wanted to, hold Alt and S. And I can start doing the scraping to get the RMC. That's something I can do. But to save a little bit of time, all I'm going to do right now is go straight over to fracture mode. Now, I'm actually still... I'm doing both at the same time. I was salvaging and fracturing. As soon as this is fractured, I'm going to press right mouse button. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to start collecting all of this as quickly as I can. However, bearing in mind, if I do that, that will fill up my hoppers and my depot. And I don't really want to fill this up with stuff that's not valuable. So, whilst I'm dismantling, this is going to give me some SCU of construction material, which is going to be in place of what could hold RMC. RMC is more valuable. So you maybe don't want to collect this construction material. I'm doing it right now because I know I'm not going to, in this video, I know I'm not going to fill this ship up. But again, if you're going to stay out for a while and you want to min-max, you always want to be salvaging RMC over construction material. So you only need just enough of this, just enough to be able to print your tools. Once your tools are printed, you really don't want any more. The only reason we broke that down was to complete the contract. And now what we're trying to do instead, just put that away, is we want to press F1. Now we can't see our Moby glass. That's a bit of a bug at the moment. We just need to press Y to get out of the seat. It's just a display issue thing. We press F1 now. Press F1 now, we'll be able to see our Moby glass. Go to contracts, offers, salvage, and now we've got the 20,000. The 20,000. So we're looking at where we're going to go. So again, if we're looking for her L2 this time. Now have a think about where we are at the moment. So if we zoom out of our ship and have a look at the station that's near us, we know we're at her L5. So it's going to help us to stay in the same area if we can find a salvage for 20,000 around her L5. Now that's what we're looking for at the moment. We may not find one. And if we don't, that's fine. That's crew. So we don't want crew. We want her. So it's her L3 there. All right, that's her L3. But we're also looking at what are the types of ships. So that's crew again. We don't want that. And we're looking for something in the Hurston system. So there's a Drake cutter there. A Drake cutter, that's her L2. And it really depends on what we're going to go for. So we're actually going to go for her L2. All right, we're going to take that Drake cutter. It's not ideally what we want, but we're going to take it anyway. It's only a small ship, but you've got to think about what the ships are. But we're just looking to complete this to get to the next level up. And already it's 20,000, so we're spending quite a bit of money at the moment. A bit of risk that we've had to take on board. All right, let's go ahead and jump in our seat. Fighter ships are going to have better weapons that you can use, but then at the same time, you have to understand that cargo ships, sometimes they may have cargo that you can take. So, yeah, just having a look and figuring out what's best for you. We're going to do the same thing right now. We're just going to head over to, well, hopefully. These two are right on top of each other, so we're just going to try and stop so we can get this. And now we're going to head over to here. So again, this is another reason why you might want to increase the speed of your quantum drive. But also why we need to consider how much fuel we're using going back and forth. I'm going to pause the video just so you don't have to waste time watching me. And we'll start again once we get there. Okay, so now we're arriving at the next location. So we need to complete this one, the 20k contract, to get the 50k. And we're going to see if we can salvage a little bit of this. It's a slightly bigger ship. Still a starter ship, kind of. Just a Drake cutter. But there could potentially be a little bit of cargo in the back here. So we're going to have a look at that. Alright, so looking at where we need to go. We're going to head in this general direction. And can press T so that we can target it. We can also ping if we need to see if there's anything we're going to fly into. So sometimes also helpful. Alright, look at the distance. We're coming in really, really quick now. So we're going to get within a few kilometers. Then we're going to put our guns out. We want to go into... So the mode that we're looking for at the moment is scan mode. That's it. Now we're in scan mode. We can start to just get a little bit closer. Hold down that. Careful we don't hit it. That's the other thing. We've got to be very careful we don't hit this. So what we're going to do is we're going to scan this and we're going to listen for those beeps as we scan and press and hold left mouse. There's one. There's two. So now we can have a look. Is there any cargo on board? No, there is no cargo. We've got some parts that we can go and get. But there's no cargo. So we can always double check this just by scanning again. Was there another beep? Is there any cargo? There is no cargo. Now you can go and physically check this if you want to. But at the moment I'm confident there is no cargo aboard this ship. So what we're going to do instead, we're just going to salvage it. So we're going to get ourselves to a position we want to be. Use the gimbal mode, and we're going to get as much of this RMC off of this as we can. Slightly bigger than the last ship. Now this costs 20,000, right? We're at 2.3 in our depot at the moment. So we know we've got 2.3. And we know that this costs 20,000. So we need to get to 4.3 to break even. Or just on this RMC that we're getting right now. That's our target right now. So we're going to break this and get as much of this RMC as we possibly can. And you can see underneath the impact area that we're getting 0.2 at the moment, CSCU. So we can kind of see what works and what doesn't. Alright, not the best ship, but you can see at the moment, we're getting a little bit now. Alright, let's swap it around, turn it around, see the other side of it. Now, because this is a bigger ship, it's actually harder to rotate. You can do it, but it's a little bit harder, so we're going to get this angle here. We'll swap over. Right, getting the sides here. Good bit of material on the sides. Perfect. And this is it. This is salvaging. This is all you'll be doing. Obviously, the bigger ships get a lot more material off of them. And you'll start to figure out what's a good ship, what's a bad ship. The cargo is always going to be random, so sometimes you'll get stuff, sometimes you won't. Here we go. So remember, we need to get up to about 4.5 at the moment just to break even in this. So really focus on as much of this RMC as we can. It's difficult to see. You can turn the lights off and it sometimes makes it a bit easier to see the areas that are glowing. That's the area that if you hold on that glow, that's what we're looking for. So just make sure we get all of this, go back and forth. You'll find a pattern that works for you. And this is a salvaging game loop. Now, if you don't want to buy contracts and take that risk, you can go to Yella in the Crusader system and find the asteroid belt. Use your ping to find some unknown sources, travel to them, and if their pings are in a heat source of 2000s, I believe, they're going to be panels. You can go and just scrape those panels for free. And it's another way to be able to do this and just get the RMC from them. So just bear that in mind. Now you can't break down the panels to get construction material from them, so make sure you've got a multi-tool if you want to go and do your boxes. But overall, we're at 3 SCU, so we didn't really break even from this one. This one not very good at all. What we could do is carry on like what we're doing here. We do need to break this down though. There's still like another 30% to get here. I'm not going to waste my time with this on this contract, even though I could. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fracture this. And then I'll dissolve it, and that will give me the material. So I'm filling up that depot. Takes a little bit longer to do the bigger ships. So we're fracturing this for 2.7 SCU of material, but that depends on how quickly we pick it up and how accurate we are to do it. So, as you can see, the hull is going to give us like 3.1 SCU, but we're losing 19% on it. So if we're at a certain, if we come in close enough, there we go. Okay, so now let's go and find ourselves another contract. So again, knowing where we are at the moment, that's important. So looking at the map, zooming out a little bit and realizing that we're at crew L2, going to contracts, offers, salvaging. We've now got these 50,000 contracts available, and we're looking for a kind of crew L2 on a 50,000. Just to see first what's available. So there's a crew L4, crew L5, but there's no crew L2. Sorry, is it crew? 1 second, hold on, we're on her, right? Hurston L2, sorry, I apologise, we're on Hurston L2. So lots and lots of these available here. There's a Her L5 there, but this is a Star Runner. Now we're going to go and take the Hurston L5. We're going to take that. It's a 50,000, but it's a Star Runner, which we know is a freight ship. So, by heading over to this, what we're hoping for, I'm just going to quantum travel mode. It's not that far away. But what we're hoping for on her L5 is that this is going to give us some cargo. So exactly the same thing. We're going to pause the video just so we don't waste your time as we're arriving. And then once we get there, we'll continue and we'll do this last mission. Okay, so we're just arriving now at this last location claim. This is going to be the 50,000 contract, which means we need 5 RMC at least. 5 SU of RMC to break even. The initial contracts are not really about making money. They're just about getting to these ones. These are the ones that count. So, you can see where we need to go to. We're going to head over here. Just checking there's no asteroids or anything we're going to bash into. Just offsetting slightly so we don't go straight into it. The worst thing that we can do at this stage is to fly directly into it. And we're going to go over into... not quantum mode. We want to be able to... here we go. Go into scan mode here. And we're doing 700 meters a second as we're flying towards this quite quickly. So just bear in mind that we're going to have to change to our weapons just to slow us down. And that's probably a good time to do that right about now. Ooh! For some reason... there we go. For some reason that wasn't working then and we just flew straight past what we were trying to do. So that's a good example of how that can happen. Alright, now we're going a bit slower. Let's get close enough. Swap over for those scanning. Alright, and now we're nice and close. Let's do a scan. So hovering over, pressing and holding left mouse button till it goes yellow. Holding it. 1 click. 2 clicks. Okay, so we can see there's cargo on board here. We have some gold and we have some quantanium. Quantanium at the moment, selling for about 25,000. So that's half the value of the ship right there. And gold, we know, sells for about 5, so 15. So we've got about 40,000 right there just in cargo. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to come up to this ship. We're going to look for the back of this ship. First thing we need to do is just get to the back of the ship. And then what we're going to do is turn ourselves around so that the back of our ship is near the back of this ship. And we're just going to position ourselves. You can use the keys if you need to look around to make sure you're kind of lining up. Not like me, obviously. We're going to try and just level this out a little bit. Okay, so we're relatively where we need to be. Not exactly, but relatively. We'll come close, a little bit closer. And what you're trying to do is just get the back of your ship near the back of this ship. Perfect. All right, now we're there. What we're going to do is just go ahead and jump out of our ship. And we'll go out the side door here. It doesn't really matter how you go. We're going to go this way. We're going to head to the back of this ship. And we're going to open up this door. So looking for the access panel here. Okay. Going to open up that. Didn't work. Let's try that again. There we go. Worked that time. So now the back is open. We'll take out our multi-tool. And we're just going to have a quick look at what's around here. So inside this ship, again, components, things like that we can take. Processed food we're not interested in. Here's the gold. So we can take the gold out. And all we want to do is put that directly into the back of our ship. So we're going to just put that there for a moment. Just kind of leave it there so it's floating. And there's some more gold here. We'll do the same thing. We'll just take that out for a minute. Place that right there. That's iron. We're not really interested in iron. And that's the quantanium that we wanted. So we know we had the gold. We had the quantanium. They're the boxes that we wanted. The rest of it, we're not too worried about. Now, quantanium, you have to be careful with because it can break it. If you smash it around, it can blow up. Just bear that in mind. Okay, so we're going to get to the back of our ship. Open up the back access. We'll jump in first. And just lift that one up a little bit because it was a bit low. The other two boxes are there. That's fine. We'll just jump into the back of our ship. All right, so now we're here. We're going to grab this one, bring it towards us. Now the way I'd like to do this is spin it round so it's like this. Bring it in here. And then we can put it just there. We'll grab the Quantanium and put that in as well. Like so. And then there was one more box. We'll grab that. And we'll bring this one in as well. Click that in place and we're going to shut the back door so no one can steal anything from us. Okay, now we're going to have a look at this. Now, as you can see, we've got quite a bit of construction material here, which is a bit of a waste. We don't necessarily want that. But we can eject our recycled material composite if we want to. So we can eject that, which is our RMC. We can even click on auto eject and it will just keep pushing these out. So we see that goes down, the box comes out, and then we can stick it in our storage. And then all we need to do is move this once it's out over here. And also we can use the grid that we've got, but also we can stick these down the side of the grid. So we can also put another 6 along here. So we've got, as I mentioned, 12 there with another 6 here. That's 18. And then we can stack up as much as we want just to fill that space. Plus we can keep the hopper filled up as well. We can keep the hopper filled up because we can print more when we get back to our hangar. So it's still quite an amount that we can carry with us. If we get rid of the construction materials, we've just got RMC, even better. All right. So far, so good. We've managed to get the loot that we care about. Obviously, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and grab weapons and components and all that good stuff that you need. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do right now, though, is just go to the front of this ship, kind of line it up in the middle here, get to a decent place and press M. All right, so knowing now that we're in a good place, we're going to Alt and S because that's what we want. Going to move over to the right modules so we know where we are and what we're doing. And we're going to press G to turn on gimbal mode and off we go. And that's it. As you can see, this is a much, much bigger ship. So it's going to take us a lot longer to do this now. This is where the abrades would really come in. And I can manage that by turning this off. Just changing to the right one, changing to the abrade scraper, and then turning them both on. So now what you'll see, look at the abrade and the range that it has. So the left is not actually going to be as efficient anymore. The right side is it's going to be more efficient, even though it might not seem like it. It will be, because we're doing a larger ship. So if you're getting onto these big ships, you really want 2 abrades rather than 2 cinches. Now, in order to do that, what you can do is you can go to a website, and we've done this before. In fact, I'm just going to show it to you in a minute. What will happen is you'll have the ability to go to a website. We'll go there in a minute and show you. It's called Urkel.games. Urkel.games. And that is going to give us the ability on Urkel.games to check all of our loadouts. So we can see what components will go onto what ship. And then from there, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to find out where to buy those components. So, all we need to do now, once we finish this, is take our ship back to any TDD, so any planet side building that we're going to go to, and then we can sell the RMC. We'll be able to sell all of the other stuff as well, the Quantanium, stuff like that. But we need to go to a TDD, a Trade and Development Division. Now, we did that before to sell the Hadanite, so you know how to do it from the last video. And that's what we're going to do. So, to save time on this video, you understand this process and what we're doing. Now, we can sit here for the next hour and do this. As you can see, we're going to get loads from it. Now, you really want to min-max as best you can here, so RMC is what you're going for. You want to fill up that deposit, or that depot, and then you want to be able to print everything out the back, so the back is absolutely full. Fill up the deposit or the depot again. I wouldn't really worry about guns and things like that at this stage, because it kind of takes up too much space. It's much better to have the space for things like the boxes. And I wouldn't bother with things like construction material, iron, processed food. You'll learn the stuff that isn't valuable, and you can do that from the website UEX Corp, uexcorp.space. We've been there before as well. you can just go and check out the price finder. So what I'm going to do now is just press G. Just need to be able to move my ship. So we're just going to move the ship because it was just a little bit out there. Perfect. All right, we'll go again. Okay, so as you can see though, a much, much bigger ship. So we've already got 25k for the Quantanium. Okay, we know that we've got 5k for, or 6k for each of the gold, and we've got 3 gold that we picked up as well. So another 18k there. So yeah, we've almost broken even just alone with nothing else on the cargo that we picked up. And then anything on the RMC is just a complete bonus. And as you can see here, we're going to get absolutely loads of RMC from both sides of this ship. Okay. So that's pretty much everything that we need to do here in terms of salvaging. As I mentioned, if you went to Yella, you can salvage panels by pinging and looking for them. Sometimes you'll find ships out and about, and if you're in your salvage vehicle, and you're in a ship, go ahead and salvage it. You can use this for doing your bunker runs, because obviously you can hold a container in the back now that you can print out. Well, not print out, but one that you can store. So you can take an FPS container with you. You can even take a bigger one now. You can take an 8 SCU with you. And so you can use this for a lot of stuff. You can do some basic cargo hauling missions with this as well if you need to. Knowing that you can get a decent... you can get 2 8 SCU in the back if you want to. Or you can get 1 16 SCU in the back of this if you wanted to. Okay. So we're just going to fill up this depot. We're not going to go too crazy. Then we need to head back and sell this and make some profit. But that's it. That's how we're going to make our money. So you'll look to make quite a lot of money from this. I'm not saying it's the most profitable game loop, but it's definitely an enjoyable one. A relaxing one for you. And at this stage, I think you've got everything that you need to make this work. Okay. So now you get the idea of how this works. So, what we're going to do now, we're just going to turn the gunballs off. We're going to center the ship. There we go. So now we're going to center the ship. Turn those off. So now they're going to sit there in the middle. Again, we can just get around the ship if we need to. Do the other side. And as you can see, just still loads more to be able to get here. Right, now they're nice and centered. Okay, we can also fracture this if we want to. So I'm not going to finish the RMC at the moment. We could, but for the purpose of this, I kind of just want to show you this. But if we were to fracture this ship, it's a bigger ship. It's going to be a lot harder to fracture. Now, the Vulture will struggle to fracture some of these bigger ships. It simply won't be able to. It's going to be too big. And so if this cannot fracture, we cannot see it's not working. It's because this ship is too big for the Vulture. You need the Reclaimer, which is the next ship up. The Reclaimer can fracture anything. This, it will fracture. It is fracturing, but you need to be quite close to be able to do that. Now, what happens when you fracture a ship, right? It blows up. What happens if you're close to a ship when it fractures? You just need to bear in mind what could happen here, what's about to happen. So, we'll wait and we'll see. There's 66 potential SCU here from the fracture. Now, when you fracture, You lose some of the cargo inside. You'll lose the ability to get things like some of the weapons and things, components. So do all of that stuff before you fracture. Do all the scraping and everything else. Do everything else first. Fracturing is kind of like a last resort. You can kind of see in the middle of the screen there, that little yellow dial. It's taken a long time to go round. But we're almost there. Done. We're okay. Right, so now if we wanted to, we can get some more. Now, there's 73 SCU there. 73 SCU. We can't... It's just simply too much. What's going to happen is we're going to fill up that deposit. So we'll see that our depot will be full after doing this. I know it's construction material, but again, 73 SCU. This is a ship that's meant more for the reclaimer. You're not going to get the benefit of this, but it's construction material, so you don't really care, to be honest. But if you're going to min-max these contracts, if you're in a reclaimer and you're doing this, then you'll be able to take all the construction material and all of the RMC, and it's just extra money. A few extra thousand here and there makes a big difference when you're hauling or you're salvaging quite a lot. So we're just going to fill this one up. This is going to fill up that station. Then we'll have to head downstairs. We'll have to print everything out. So we're just going to go ahead and do that now. So it says there, fill a station full. Therefore, there's no point at that. If we're still scraping at that point when it says fill a station full, we're just wasting material because we literally can't do anything with it. So it's just good to bear that in mind as well. Okay. So now what we can do is we can print out. So we can go ahead. We can see how much we've got here for RMC. We're going to eject with the auto eject turned on. Now, as long as we push these boxes out quick enough, it will just keep spitting them out. If we don't, it will block this. So we have to move this quickly. And then it will see it's filling the next one. Okay. There we go. So now this one says, please clear the conveyor belt because we didn't get that one out in time. So now we need to continue ejecting and that will continue now. So all we're going to do is focus on stacking these up. Getting all of these out. And as you can see, starting to fill this up nicely now. There's not much space left anymore. We can stick them down here. Now, this is not cargo grid, but we can put them down here as well. We can do the same here, sticking that one down. And when this one comes out, we can stick it into there. All right, now we have run out of RMC, but we do still have construction materials, so we're going to do the same thing there. It does say select size of box, but we can only do one SCU because that's all this box takes. So now we can stick another 4 here with another 2 here, and then we can start filling out this last little bit here, which is kind of us pushing around and takes a little bit of messing about, but I'll just kind of show you what I mean. So we've got those 2. Imagine there's 2 more on top. The reason I say imagine that because I only got 4 SCU, so I don't have enough to do this at the moment. But that one would then go here with 1 on top. And then this one you would put here. You want to try and obviously rotate this round and get it so it's clean as we can get it up against the edge here. This one's just being a little bit funky, but that's okay. All we'll do is just put it down like this. Okay, so now that's there. We can also move this one to here. And then we could, if we reach this, continue ejecting and we can get 1 more out. So that does work, and we can do that, but you can really see there, you got to really start messing about with these now to be able to get them out and to get them about. So it does show you what's possible. That's all we've got at the moment, but you can get another 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 out of here. So it is possible to get another 5 out. That's about it. That's all you're going to get. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're not going to waste our time doing that. We're just going to go and sell it all now. So you can see that process of how it's all sold. So we have to go down to a planet. That's the first thing we have to do. In order to do that, we're going to look for one of the 4 main planets, pretty much the one that's nearest to us. We're going to think about where we need to go. So in this case, we can say we're going to go to Hurston. Once we go down into Hurston, we're going to have to find the planet on the surface, which in this case is going to be Lorville. So we can type that in if we want to. Type in Lorville. Then we're going to route to it. We're going to put ourselves into the right quantum mode. There's Hurston. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to pause this video so that you don't have to watch this quantum travel. But bearing in mind, if you're in quantum travel, please do not go down the stairs. It will yeet you out of your ship and you will lose everything. Bear that in mind. Okay, so we've just arrived out of quantum travel. We're now going to head to our final location, which is going to be down here in Lorville. So just waiting for the cooling at the moment on the quantum travel. And we shall head down here, land, put our ship into our hangar, offload everything as needed, and then we'll go and sell it quickly. So we know from a previous video, when we go to Orison, we know where we can go to the TDD. We haven't done any of the other buildings, but I have got, in a playlist, I have got a series that shows you all of the locations and all the buildings within that. Or you can just use the map as well. There's lots of really good videos that will help you guide. I think you can figure it out for yourself. Most planets have got 3 locations. There's going to be the Habs and the medical center. There's going to be the spaceport, and then there's going to be like the commercial district. Normally, depending on where you're going and what you're buying, it varies. But here in Lorville, the TDD that we're going to, I'll show you where it is. We're just going to head down. So we'll get closer. Bearing in mind the speed that we're going. Now Lorville's a little bit different when you're landing here. You really want to aim for, and unfortunately this is really foggy so it's hard to see. You want to be aiming for the center, for the left side here. Can you see the spaceport? It's blue. You can kind of just see that blue area there. That is the spaceport, and that is what we're aiming for. So even though it's like really smoggy, and you'll see that a lot in Lorville, because even though it's really opulent and it looks really expensive, it's actually, it's quite dirty. So you have a lot of smog in this area that you're going to have to deal with. Huge buildings that you're going to see. Make sure you don't crash into any of these buildings. But this is the spaceport that we're heading for. There we go. We can now see it's a really built up area. So we're going to request to land. There's our hangar it's given us. So we're now in the spaceport. Coming in nice and slow. Now we can see where that hangar is, which is good. And as we get a bit closer, all we're going to do is just stick down our landing gear just to help us so we don't crash. Right, as we head in, what we're looking for, and this is the most important part, is we're looking for where do we offload. This is only a small hangar. The freight elevator, as we can see, is on that side. So what we're going to do is spin this around. And I'm going to use my joysticks because it's just a little bit easier. But what we're trying to do here is put this so that the back of this is up to the freight elevator. If you need to move around, you can. You can also set hotkeys, by the way. Just makes it a lot easier when you're trying to do this if you have hotkeys. You can just press certain keys on a number pad. All right. That's good enough for us. Jump out of our ship. Now, we're not going to be able to get out the ship that way. We have to go out the front because we loaded up the back. So, jump out. Very simple to ramp access. And all we're going to do is we're going to start unloading all of this. Now, knowing what we've spent so far and knowing what we've got so far. Now, we could have got a lot more. Obviously, we could have removed all of the stuff that wasn't valuable. For example, the gold. We could have removed the gold because the RMC would have been more valuable than the gold. So we also could have removed all of the construction material and got rid of that as well. So if you're going to try and min-max, we have the ships. Just realise what you're doing. Now, we could have come back and not done that 50k. We could have also made sure that the hoppers were empty before we claimed any more. There was a lot that we missed. But I was only doing this to show you. I'm not trying to get the maximum amount of this. I'm just showing you the process of how this works. Okay, so we know we need to take all of these out. If your hopper is also full... Okay, that one actually seems to be a bit stuck. Which is not ideal. There we go. Just get that out and put it on top. Sometimes you might want to use the max lift. It can be a little bit easier. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Just grab this last one. We'll check the hopper's empty. Yep, there's nothing. There's a little bit left in there, but there's nothing for us, so we'll just take these last two. Stick them in here, and we'll go and lower that. Remember, until it's lowered, it is not safe, so we need to make sure we come over to here. We lower this. All of that's now safe. Transferred. So now, oh, we can head this way. The ship will store, which will save the material that's on it. So when we get the ship out, that will still be there, which is good. We now need to head to the TDD. So waiting for the elevator. There it is. First head down to the spaceport, then we need to go and get onto the transit network, and we need to head across to the TDD where we can sell this. Okay, so first thing we're looking for is the metro network. So we're going to come out looking at the signs, looking for metro. Coming through customs. Through the customs area. Through the security zone. Okay, now we're looking for metro. So this is the metro center, and then we've got the central business district. Now we want to go to the central business district. The TDD is in the business district. This will actually show you the map. So where we can go from. This is the spaceport. We can take two lines. Spaceport line to the metro center, or this over to here. So this is where we're going. There's also planet surface as well. So I'm not going to get off of here because the train's going to depart. But there's also planet surface here as well that you can go to. Again, you can explore, and it's part of the fun of the game here is to explore and to look around. But all I want to do now is just show you the selling process so you can see what happens. If you go to New Babbage, the TDD is in the commercial district, so you will go to the commercial district. It's at the back of the domes, so you just go straight through. If you go to Orison, it is in where the HABs are, so the Hab and a medical center. The TDD is in the Stratus building. Here, in Lorville, it's in the business district, which we're going to now, which is in Area 18. Sorry, there's also Area 18. And so Area 18, the TDD, is in the shopping, well, it's kind of where everything is. You'll see that. So you get an idea. We're looking around. It's pretty cool. Can't really see out the side here, but pretty amazing place when you start looking at all of the locations. Very opulent, very built up. As you come in here, it's very grandeur. These huge, big golden statues that you're about to see in this big building that we just walked into. And everything just looks really nice and clean. Also, the security in this area. So there we go. You can kind of see this is where we are, business district. Loving the look of the vibe of these guys as well. So the armor and the kit that you get from the missions, if you remember, we did the bunker running missions over in Microtech. Very different if you were to do bunker missions over here. Kind of gear that you can get from these guys. So we're going to head into the left-hand side, I believe. Need to double check. There's two sides we can go here, left or right. No, the left side is transfers. The right side... Oh, yep. So the right side is a showcase. So this is where you can buy things for your ship. The left side for transfers in here, this entrance. As we go through, some writing on the walls. You can see very opulent, very grandeur. This is where we're looking for, TDD. We go up to any one of these terminals. Select our location, which is going to be Lorville. Alright, so we can see what we've got here to sell. So the first we can do is sell Quantanium. That's going to sell for 20. So let's have a look. We've got 237,000, alright? So the first one we're going to do is going to sell this maximum. Alright, we've got a total of 6 SCU of construction material at 2k each. So we're going to sell that. Alright, so that's 13,000. Next thing we're going to sell, Quantanium. We've only got one, that's 20. Alright, so we've got 20,000. So altogether, that's 33,000 so far, roughly, that we've got. The gold that we've got 2 and a 1, that's 18,000. So we're going to go ahead and sell that. That's another 18,000. So it's about 50k there so far. And then we've got the RMC, of which is worth right now 8.5 per SEU. It's not worth that much at the moment, which means we're only going to get 60,000 for selling this. So that's 110k that we've made. And we paid 50k for a mission, 20k for a mission, and we paid 5k and 1k. So in total, we had to pay 76,000. We've made 110,000. So we've made some profit, but now everything's just going to be pure profit as we go from here. So that's it. Obviously, if there was any components, anything else, if we min-maxed, we would have got a lot more out of this. We could have got more than double that if we had min-maxed and really taken our time to have got all of the RMC and everything. But for now, that's everything you need to know about salvaging. We've completed that game loop. You can now go out. You can make some money. You can make some decent money from this. But you've got a new ship. You've got the ability to earn that money back now through the salvaging game loops. Again, I would highly recommend you stick to the contracts if you're looking from salvaging. You want to look at what ships they are. You want to try and stay in the same area, but you'll get used to certain ships will have... so things like the Valkyrie isn't going to have... The Arrow isn't going to have any cargo on it. You know, a lot of these ships... the Vanguard Warden is a 50k, but that's got weapons, components. It's not going to have cargo. And so things like the Hull A could have cargo, not guaranteed. Corsair could, but probably won't. But going to have some good weapons on it. And so you just got to kind of figure out what's worth taking. Where the money is and things like that. And what's worth taking and where it is as well. So the other thing you can do is go to unverified. As you can see from the unverified, some of these jobs, even though they're timed, chance to get drugs, a lot more money out of this. So that's the salvaging game loop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.